Hello! Welcome to Unboxing Alyss, the YouTube channel with our purple fox that unboxes things. I'm doing this again because it's a convention, so I have nothing to point to. I am Alistair Frost, and today we're going to cover Midwest Furfest, as best I can remember. It was about a month ago. It was like the 1st through the 3rd of December, like 2 weeks after Ponyville Cider Fest. It was a crazy time for me. But it was a lot of fun, and today I'm going to cover essentially what happened and what we did. And of course, in my second video for this month, I will cover what I bought, which is going to be a significantly shorter video. But let's get into it. So, November 30th, a pack. I'm working from home that day, so I'm doing work and packing at the same time like I usually do. And I was hoping to get out, I think by like, let's see, I'm trying to do math right now. 4, I think 4 was what I was aiming for. Because I'm going to scoot a little closer, so yeah, we can have an intimate gathering between you and me. Oh, that sounds creepy. Anyway, moving on. So I was hoping to leave at like 4 so I could get there by 7. I'm in central Illinois, and MFF is in Rosemont, Illinois, which, if you don't know where that is, Chicago. It's basically Chicago. So it's about a 3-hour drive from me. So I was meeting my friend there. He is already in northern Illinois. He's actually further north than Chicago. So it's still a bit of a drive for him, but nowhere near as much of a drive as it is for me. But I was hoping to meet him at 7 so we could check in, get our hotel room, and, get our badges, get food, chill, cool. So things never work out the way I want them to because I'm me. I actually did get out around the right time. The issue was I had to stop to go to the bathroom like twice, which sucked. And the first time I stopped, I was looking at like the signs saying, hey, there's, food here, there's gas here, and da 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 da. So the gas I stopped for was significantly further away than I thought it was going to be. So I ended up stopping at like a Sam's Club, which you could go in and out without a membership. But, it's a gigantic store, so I had to go in there and find where the bathroom is. There's now hair in my mouth, and it's going to be, oh, this is going to be a fun video. Anyway. So yeah, that, and then traffic happened, so I ended up getting there at like 7:30. But I did arrive. I know he was not happy. I was like, dude, bladders happen, and traffic also happens. I think there was like an accident on my way up there on 55. But so I get there and we check in. We were actually in the Embassy Suites this time, which is great. Usually we're in the Aloft, which is kind of our default hotel because that's the hotel that's open. That's the hotel we can actually reserve before the next convention. For whatever reason, the Aloft always has rooms, or I won't say always, but it usually has rooms that you can reserve like outside of the hotel, like the con block, but none of the others usually do. But that day before, I was just searching online and looking at the other hotels, and I happened to find a rate for the Embassy Suites. Like literally the day before the convention, the day before I drove up, and it was not the con rate, but it was a cheaper rate than the Aloft, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take that. Go to the Embassy Suites, and we check in, and I found out that the rate includes, well, I guess all rates include like the free breakfast, and I'll get a picture of the breakfast, like, I don't know, maybe now or towards the end, who knows. But it's like a full breakfast, like a full hot breakfast with an omelet station. So it's not just like you grab a muffin and an apple and, off you go. This is a very substantial breakfast, which is awesome. My personal rate also included free parking, which I believe parking was 33 or $35. I think online I read 35. When we went to park, it said 33. And I was like, well, okay, $2 difference, whatever. But no, she said that because of my specific rate, it was free parking. That was like $35 or something. I'm not doing math right now. That, both of us got to save, and we each drove separately. Of course, we're coming from different places, so that was really cool. But we checked in, and then, of course, go get con badges. Oh my God, MFF, please, for the love of all that is holy, do something with your registration Thursday night. Last year, we got down there, and about 9 p.m., they just shut everything down because there was not enough, like, convention staff. And by convention staff, I mean the people who work for the convention space, not the, like, con staff, not the MFF staff. So they didn't do that, but it still took like an hour, like literally an hour, to go through this gigantic line. I wish I'd taken a picture of it. Maybe I did. I don't remember. And get just our badges. It took forever. And of course, after that, there's not a lot of places open left for food. A lot of them have kitchens that close at like 9:30. So we went to Adobe Gila like we did last year. It was not as loud as it was like last year, but I'm sorry, I'm going to keep adjusting my head just because it hurts a lot. The group next to us was very, very loud, so the establishment in itself was fine. The group next to us, I wanted to strangle because they just were so loud and bumping into things, and one guy kept spilling his drink everywhere, like some alcoholic beverage. So that part kind of sucked, but the food was fine. The wait staff isn't the most attentive there either. Like, she was sweet and all, just, I had to wait a while for a check. My friend, I'll call him Rule Card, I'll go by his Steam handle. My Rule Card had to wait a while for, like, I think it was just water or something like that. So their wait staff isn't the best, but they're not, like, rude or anything. It's just, it takes a while to get stuff done. But I had a burrito. Burrito was good. And went back to the hotel. Just, chilled for the rest of the night. Looked through the booklet, if you will. MFF is on Sked. There is a, like, convention, what do you call it, app called Sked, SCHED, I believe. And it has the entire, like, lineup. So for all the panels, all the guests, the dances, the artist deal, everything on the schedule is on there. Essentially, it's a schedule app, and it can make things easier when you're trying to find what you're going to do, what you're going to see. You can just kind of click it on the app, and so I might like take a picture of the sked where it has just the general sked of everything offered at the con, and then you have my sked, which is the things you are actually interested in, the things you clicked on. So we went through that together and decided what we wanted to do. For the most part, there were times where we were doing the same things. There were some things I was interested in that Real Card just like, I'll just follow you there, I don't really care. I was like, okay. So that was pretty much Thursday. Thursday is going to be a laid back night for most cons, especially with ones that are 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're just kind of there to beat traffic, so you have to fight the horde the next day to try and, get your hotel room and find your parking and all of that. So that's why we go ahead of time. It's just a night to chill and figure out what we're doing. I did look at the schedule beforehand, but obviously I didn't look at it with him. So we were trying to figure out who's going to what and what times and when we were going to eat and things like that. So that is Thursday night. Friday, I decided to suit up. I usually only suit up on Saturdays, and I decided to suit up Friday and Saturday technically, I guess, last year. I don't know if that was a bad life choice or not. I was dying, but, I did suit up, and, went down there. And, before I did that, I woke up earlier. I went to go to the gym. Again, I said in the Ponyville Cider Fest video, even when I'm on vacation, even when I'm at conventions, I do still go to the gym if they have one. I guess this is the only downside for me for the Embassy Suites. Their gym is not the best. Like, it was clean and everything else, so that's not the issue. It just had, like, 2 treadmills and 1 bike, 1 strider, they call it a strider in Orange Theory, but, what do you call it? Elliptical. And they did have a weight station, but it was in, from here to, you might be able to see the corner of that couch. I can't remember where I put my camera, but like there, and then from maybe the entrance, the part of the fireplace to like this rug in the front, there was not a lot of space to use the weights, so that was kind of disappointing. And the Friday I went down there, like, pretty much everything was taken. I was able to grab, I think, a bike? No, I was able to grab the strider, or the elliptical. So, I was able to do something. I'm not a fan of bikes. They're really boring to me. No offense to those of you who might like stationary bikes. I just don't. But I went ahead and used the elliptical anyway, and then did some, exercises. After that, I went, I think, back up to shower. And, no, I'm sorry. I met my friend down at breakfast because it was on the same floor as the fitness center. And it was a very, very long line because it was like, I think I got done at like 9 and breakfast closed at like 9:30. So everyone and their grandma had probably partied the night before. You meet friends and get together, go out, do. But everyone's like hungover and stuff and hungry. So it was a very long wait. But we still were able to get in. and have a nice, breakfast. I did not take a picture of the breakfast for Friday and Saturday. I took the picture of the one for Sunday, in part so I can remember what to count for Weight Watchers later on. But it was a very substantial breakfast. I had my omelets and a lot of fruit. I did a lot of fruits, some eggs, things like that, just trying to keep my protein up. And then went back up. We both went back up, able to chill a little bit. I did decide to suit, so I did that right before my first panel, which was fursuit supplies, like basic fursuit supplies. It says Lily Moon on the sked, so that's what I'm going to use. And I think it was Lily Moon, a fursuit maker was sick, so she sent her assistant, who got very lost. And I don't blame her. If for those who've never been to MFF, it is huge. This is not Gateway Furmy at all. Not even like Ponyville Cider Fest was small too. It's not a furry convention, obviously, but it is a convention in a space. But it's very small. MFF gets, I think they got 15,000 people over the weekend. So they need significantly more space than like GFM or PVCF. And so it's split between the Hyatt Regency and the actual, I think it's Donald E. Stevens, I think, Convention Center. So there's a lot of skywalking going around, and yeah, it's very easy to get lost, so I get it. But she did make it, and the parts where, they were there and we're doing the thing, it was great. Some of these things I do know. I fell in love with fursuits when I joined the fandom back in 2016. Ironically, that was MFF 2016. That's where I found out where furries were and decided, hey, I want to be part of this group. Anthropomorphic animals are cool. This group celebrates them. And I saw all the fursuits. I was like, oh my god, I want that. I want that now. And, I spent another year researching suits and everything, and I realized, oh my god, they are so expensive. They are expensive. They are hot. Oh my lordy. But I fell in love with them, and I just was determined to get one. As you can see, I did several versions of this one. But I have always wanted to make my own. I would like to do that when I'm not in this house because I do not have space. So I've done research of my own when it comes to like fursuit building, but it's always nice to hear from experts. So I did go to that. There is a picture of like a little card that Lily Moon or assistant made that has different fur types where you can go get stuff, low quality versus high quality fur, things like that. And I'll try and get a picture of that, or I'll try and put the picture in here. Yeah, throughout this video, as usual, there's just going to be random pictures. I take significantly more pictures at MFF than I do at PVCF. So you're just going to see a bunch of me with like random suitors just as I'm talking, just so you know. But that was a really good panel, and then after that we decided to go to the dealer's den. So went through a little bit of that. There were some dealers, there probably are just more artists, but they, I guess, paid for the more expensive space in the dealer's den. But there were some that I really enjoyed. There were a couple that I ended up buying from on Sunday and I completely missed, and I was really mad. And this is kind of the downside to having a suit, and it will depend on your vision and the suit you have, but I can't see very well. You guys know that, I've mentioned that, but when we went into the dealer's den, I can't see. Like, I can obviously see what's in front of me. Like, I can see the rest of my living room in front of me. I can see the bright light on my camera. But when it comes to like looking at like things that are on not charts but like shelves and things, like it's hard to see. So I kind of learned don't do that in the future. And this entire time I'm still suiting. I hadn't gone back to change ever since we left the room at like, I don't know, noon or whatever. I've been suiting. So I did take my head off when we were in panels because I'm just sitting there. And for some parts of the dealer's den, I did take it off, because A, to see better, and B, because my head started to hurt. But yeah, I can't see very well. But we did do no, it was like half. It was like half of the dealer's den from like 1:30 to, I think it was like 3:30, something like that, maybe 3:45. Because we had a panel at 4, and it was the Retail Horror Stories panel. And we were both really interested in that, even though I've actually never worked retail. I haven't worked a service job, if you will. I work for the public sector. I work for a state agency here in Illinois, so I am a public servant. But when it comes to like retail or fast food or a service position like that, I've never done it. So we both went. I know my friend had, so we were interested in learning about, learning what others other people's stories. We wanted to hear those stories. I don't remember the host, but they didn't really do much. They just kind of reserved the room and said, "Hey, tell us your story." So that was the panel. But there were a lot of really interesting stories. I actually did share a story of something that happened to me when I worked for IDOT, Illinois Department of Transportation. That was actually my current employer, just not the same area. And it was a story about a person who was coming to. We were going to interview people for IDOT jobs, and our interviewers interview people at their school. So we would go like to the college campus, not me, but our recruiters and an engineer would go with them to the school and interview people there. This person drove all the way here to our central office because they did not read their email properly for an interview. Like they got here like 6 p.m., which I'm long gone. I was a seasonal at the time, but my immediate boss and another woman were there at the time, and this guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here for my interview," and they're like, "What?" What? And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm at whatever school it was." I'm like, "Oh no, they interview you there," which is what it says in the email. And they felt bad. They're like, "Well, we can set something. We can interview you here." And he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. If I go back, if I leave now, I'll be back in time for my interview." Which I believe this person was from like a school in Tennessee, and again, I'm in Central Illinois, so it was like a 6-hour drive that he did not need to make for this interview. And my immediate boss told me the next day, and I just cried. I felt so bad for this guy. No, it was not my fault. You could check my emails, my correspondence with this guy. I did not tell him anything wrong, so it wasn't on me. But I still felt like garbage because that guy drove so far for this interview. No idea if he got the job. But that is the story I told. I did preface it by saying, hey, I haven't work service, but I work for the state, and we are public servants. Does that count? And they're like, yeah, sure, just go ahead and tell your story. And there were a lot of really interesting stories, a lot of really good, funny stories. Just, I'm sure a lot of you have worked retail or service, and you know this. If you haven't, please be nice to retail service people. Please do. They go through a lot of crap, and they really shouldn't have to. So yeah, there's my PSA for this video. After that, finished off the dealer's den. I think we did start a little bit of Artist Alley just because we had the time. And as I was walking out, some guy looked at me. He's like, "Hey, you!" What? It's like, "Yeah, no, you're purple." It's like, "Yeah, most of me is purple." "Yes, why?" It's like, "We're having a purple picture tomorrow." Like, tomorrow's Saturday. At, I think, 2 p.m. So he's like, "Yeah, you should totally join us." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's told me that when we had arrived at the Artist Alley, and then when I was coming back out, so it was like 20 minutes because we got there when they were about to close. I'm coming back out, same dude comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, you're purple." The whole spiel again. I was like, "Dude, you just saw me like 20 minutes ago." It didn't like make me angry, it just made me, it was amusing to me. I was like, "Dude, you just saw this." So, but no, so now I have a goal. I want to go to this purple picture, whatever it is. Assuming just, furries that are all purple or have some kind of purple in them. Obviously, I am not all purple. I have bits of blue and white. But I figured that's what it was. So I was like, now I want to go and be in this picture because I know it exists. So it was at that point where the artist both closed at the same time. Dealer and artist closed at 7, I think. That's when I desuit. That's when I desuit. We go eat. No, I did not shower before we ate because we just wanted to get to where. I mentioned this in previous MFF videos, but we don't usually eat on site. We are like anywhere near like within walking distance. With Adobe Gila, we chose that because it was literally the only thing open. But we generally don't pick places like that because a lot of congoers are also going to be using the same places or order pizza or whatever it may be. And we don't really want to wait 7 hours for pizza or whatever it's going to be. So, because there are a lot of congoers that, they can't drive anywhere. Either they are too young, or they just don't have a license, or they flew in from somewhere and do not have a vehicle, or they're just, outright lazy. I don't care. I don't want to go walk somewhere to get food, and that's totally fine. You've been walking in a con all day, and like I said, this con is spread out, so there's going to be a lot of walking. I don't know what this is. This is not what walking is, but you know what I mean. So I get it. So we tend to drive. We will drive out of Rosemont to get food. So this night we went back to Terrazos. I believe I said that correctly. If not, please yell at me in the comments. It is kind of an Italian style place. We went last year, and we had some, what do you call it? I do not know the name of these, but I'm going to say Italian rice balls because the description said rice ball. So I'm going to use that. It's like a fried rice ball with like beef and peas and other stuff in it, and it's amazing. We had it last year, and we both loved it. I'll put a picture of it here. Unfortunately, I don't know what it's called. I might add that in edits. And then my main course was seafood risotto. I love seafood, except octopus, but octopus was in there and I tolerated it. But the risotto was amazing. It was a nice, red sauce, so it's going to be a little healthier for me too. It was also a very, very big portion. I loved it. I think my friend did get dessert, but I did not. I did that last year, and that was a bad life choice. I gained so much weight last year just from like MFF alone. So yeah, you did not get me. I didn't fall into that trap again, and I did not get dessert. But it was a really nice night, lovely dinner. Terrazos is an amazing place. We both recommend it. Though my friend said he's going to try and pick places we haven't gone next year because we need to branch out. And I was like, that's fine. I don't care either way. We pick places that are good. So I'm not going to complain, if we go back to Terrazos again. So I had Terrazos for dinner. I believe my friend wanted to go to one of the 18 plus panels, like one or two of them, but he was just tired and he's like, nah, nah. So we stayed in, and he was interested in watching a couple things. I had the Steam Deck with me, the OLED version, and so I was able to hook it up and, do stuff. Fortunately, unlike at Ponyville Cider Fest, when I was trying to show my friend Iona some, a few things, that was with the other deck. It wasn't with the OLED, but that one just completely I know English. The thing kept like dimming. I know I mentioned that in the last video. It was not watchable. With this one, no issues, thank God. Of course, these are two different systems. One was the LCD and the other one was the OLED. But he wanted to watch Lackadaisy, which I've heard is very popular, and then the Digital Circus, which I'd never heard of the latter. I'd heard of Lackadaisy because the pilot kept popping up in like my YouTube feed or whatever. I just hadn't watched it, so I was like, sure, I don't, the second one I don't even know what it is. So, sure, the first one, I've heard of it. I heard it's really good. I think Saber Spark really recommended it. And I watched it, and it was interesting, but I felt like I was missing things, which I am. It's based on like I think a comic or something like that. So, and I'd never read the comic. So I kind of felt lost when I was watching it. Like there were things that, like maybe personalities or plot points or, things that I just don't get. And my friend Rollcart actually has read the comics, and he started talking about, what's in the comics versus what's in this pilot and all of that. So he himself, a person who has read the comics, said the pilot may not be the best start for someone who doesn't know anything about the series, because it does leave some stuff out, but overall it was very entertaining. So, definitely check it out if you're interested. You might feel differently than I did, or than we did. But, it's very cute. The animation's really solid, really good voice acting. It looks like there's a very interesting plot to it as well. So, definitely check that out if you're interested. The second thing we watched was called Digital Circus, as I mentioned before. I had never heard of this one before. And from what I gathered, this thing started to squeak again. It's driving me nuts. I did tighten these, and it helped, but apparently I didn't tighten them enough. Anyway, Digital Circus is about a young woman who ends up in this digital circus with a bunch of other people. Kind of, I'm assuming they were people at one point, and now they're weird things. But she's trapped somewhere where apparently she can't leave, and she's trying to figure out what's up with that. And so you get to meet a few of the characters. It's very random. I'm not going to say super random. I've seen very random anime that I really don't like. I don't like randomness. So it really wasn't my thing. The main character, I think Ponmi is her name, is really cute. And fun fact, like the next day, on Saturday, when we were walking to, God knows where, we saw a Ponmi cosplayer. Like, I think it was like a bunny version of Ponmi, but they were adorable. I'll put a picture up over here, most likely. But yeah, not really my type of show, but definitely check it out because it might be something up your alley. It's really interesting. It's they're both more adult as well, not like, sexual content or anything like that, but just they're going to have like more adult concepts, and kids probably going to get lost in digital circus. But we did watch those and then kind of crash for the night. Saturday rolls around again. I suit up. Well, I'm sorry, down to the gym. Then we got breakfast earlier this time, so we didn't have to fight as much of the horde as we had to on Friday. Then I suit up, and we go to my first panel, which was fursuit. Was it something with fursuits? No, I'm sorry, it was guided meditation. My first panel was guided meditation. Rule card decided to kind of wander around a bit. I think he went back to the artist alley a little bit, so, or the dealer's den, I can't remember. But I went to guided meditation. I saw my friend Tyla there. I will put a picture of her up here somewhere because I also saw her at the con. Well, I saw her actually Friday when we were walking around the dealer's den, and she kind of hung out with us a little bit. And then I mentioned some of my schedule to her, so she popped back into guided meditation the next day. So fast forward now again to Saturday. That is where we are. So Saturday, the guided meditation was run by, I think Tofu is her name, and the panel was all about, the history of meditation and mindfulness, how different cultures approach it. It was really informative. And then towards like the middle of the panel, because I think the panel was like an hour and a half, we did some actual, breathing exercises and meditation techniques. And I really, really appreciated that. This is one where I definitely took my head off. So I just kind of put my head, next to my knees while we were there. But we did, I forgot the second one. I'm so mad. I don't know why. I can't remember. The third one was kind of like pretending you were like a tree and just branching out and stretching out. And that one I didn't care for as much. I couldn't get into it. But the very first one we did was Sa Ta Na Ma. Just Google that or YouTube that. You're saying Sa Ta Na Ma over and over again. You will say it like in a normal voice. Probably, well, I would say my voice is normal now. I don't know. I'm in a suit, so everything's kind of reverberating. But in a normal voice, you would say that for 2 minutes, and then you would say it in a whisper for 2 minutes, and then for 4 minutes, you would say nothing. And then 2 minutes after that, you would go back to the whisper, and then 2 minutes after that, you would go back to the normal voice. So it should be about 12 minutes in total, and I really enjoyed that. I just kind of felt myself like sink, and I felt like I could actually focus. My mind wasn't bouncing all over the place. I've done meditation before. I'm trying to get more regular with it, but with my method, my mind is still going constantly when I'm trying to meditate. So that saying the Satanama over and over again helps me focus on that, so my mind isn't jumping around as much. And when I'm doing the the silent part in the middle, I do sa ta. It's going to be hard to see because of my pause, but sa ta na ma sa ta na ma. I just keep doing that with my hands, so that kind of gives my mind something to focus on besides saying those things in my head. Because again, this is the silent portion. I shouldn't be saying anything out loud, but I'm saying that mantra over in my head, and the movement of my fingers kind of helps me, keep that beat in my head and keep my mind focused on the meditation and not elsewhere. So I really enjoyed that a lot, and I'm grateful for that. And I was like, I'm definitely going to incorporate this into my routine, and I have, starting this. I did a little bit of practice before the new year, but this first week, the first week of the new year, I've been incorporating it, and I was able to do it, I think, 4 nights a week. I only need to do meditation 3 nights. It just depends on if I have to go in the office the next day or work from home the next day, because that determines how late I can stay up. But I was able to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday is kind of a wild card, and Friday I was working on things, so I didn't do it. But it was, really nice, and I enjoy it a lot. I'm definitely going to keep doing that. So after the guided meditation, it was first head carving with Corgi Lope, who is I've never heard of the maker, but I really like her stuff, and they are also black. And I was like, yeah. So that probably doesn't really, why does it matter for the black? Representation matters. I said this in other videos. Representation matters. But Corgi Lope went through their whole process of how to different types of foam to use, different types of materials, or I'm sorry, tools to use to like do the actual carving, even the hot glue versus the spray on adhesive, all of that. Just went through all of that, and towards the end did actual carving, an actual carving demonstration. And I enjoyed the fact that, I'll put a few pictures. Ow, I hit myself in the ear. I'll put a few pictures up. They would stay in the front and carve, and I was in the front, and they would carve a little bit. They move over to this group and carve a little bit and move further back, because it was a long hall. It was like the stupidest room you would choose for a panel like this. And no, Corgi doesn't choose the room. You don't choose your room when you're a panelist. So it was just, I don't know why the con chose this. It was a very long room, so the people in the back, you can't hear or see anything. It's just not going to happen. So I appreciated Corgi just going at intervals, stopping and carving and explaining what they're doing, so everyone, front and back and everything in between, can actually see what is going on. So that was a fantastic panel. That's something that's just horrifying to me. As much as I want to make my own suit, I know I'm gonna have to learn how to carve, and that can have a steep learning curve. But I really want to learn it. I don't want to really go the expanding foam route. That's a lot of extra equipment I don't really want to buy. I wouldn't mind 3D printing like head bases and things, but I don't have a 3D printer either, and I don't have the space for one now. Maybe later I will get one. I'm actually wanting to get one for multiple reasons, but I would need space for it. I would also need to learn how to, manipulate 3D images to design my bases and all of that. So that's going to take a bit of, money because of the 3D printer, but also learning some new skills as well. And with the resin base, I don't really want to touch resin. It's very, very toxic. Obviously, if you have a resin base, you're not going to die. You're fine. But in the process of making those bases can be the material is toxic. You will need to do it like outside or in a ventilated area. I really don't want to mess with that. So my best bet is going to be the foam carving, because foam, you can sit in a room with foam and you'll be fine. I mean, if it's very, very tiny particles of foam and it's flying all over the place, you might want to avoid that because you don't want to get that in your lungs. But regular foam is fine. You shouldn't have any issues with that unless you're allergic to the material for whatever reason. So I enjoyed that, and there was another fursuit panel like in the middle of that. I was considering splitting my time, and I ended up not doing that. I was just really enjoying Corgi Lope, and it would have been taking too much time to figure out where it was and all of that. So we stayed for Corgi the entire time, and I got a few pictures up close of their head. And after that, we went to the artist alley, because we did a little bit of it the day before, but we decided to do a little bit more of it. And so we did, actually, no, I'm sorry. Artist alley was after we finished okay, let me back up. Sorry. So remember that picture, the purple picture. That's what I'm skipping over. I believe we went straight from Corgi Lope's panel to the picture, the purple picture at like 2 or whatever. So, made our way over there, and we found a bunch of, because we weren't quite sure, we couldn't remember where he said it was. We knew it was somewhere in the Hyatt. We thought it was in like a kind of fishbowl-ish room. And we walk in there, and there's a bunch of purple people, or a bunch of purple fursuits. Like, that's probably it. That is probably it. So, I took a bunch of pictures of purple people. I even got a picture with Princess Twilight, which I'll put somewhere here. So, but, Twilight is purple. so very, very tall Twilight that showed up. I believe they are in the purple picture. I'm not sure. I have to double check it, but I did get a lovely picture of Twilight. And his picture, it was ridiculous trying to get everyone outside and figure out which direction we're supposed to be facing. And for those of us who are short, we are panicking because we want to make sure we're in the front, not to, just, get in front of everybody else and rain on your parade. We're short. We're in the back. You can't see us. So that was happening. My friend Rulcard had my phone. He just holds my phone whenever I'm suiting and takes pictures for me. Excellent, excellent, what do you call it, handler. Definitely always have a handler. Like, I will say with GFM, it's so small, I don't usually have a handler. I also go to that one by myself. But if you're in a big con, having a handler is probably best. If you are public fursuiting ever, always have a handler, period. Just do not suit in the public without a handler. Handlers are very invaluable. There are a variety of handler videos on YouTube. I believe one was made by Pocari, and there are a few others on how to be a good handler. He was always great. So he was taking my pictures. Took a picture of the purple group for me as well. So I'll have a picture of the. I'll have the purple picture, somewhere over here or here, because I never know until I get in the edits what I want to do. But no, met a lot of purple furs. It was great. Also, found some burbs right after the picture, so I got a picture of some burbs. They'll be here somewhere. Looking at them is giving me ideas. I just got a ref sheet of my hippogriff character, not really a Sona, but a character. I'm also working with an artist, not necessarily as we speak. I'm filming this, but, right now I'm working with an artist to make a ref of my new D&D character. I started a D&D campaign with a different group, and I have an Ari-Galaxy sorcerer in that group, so he's making a ref sheet of her, and I would love to make a fursuit of her. I would absolutely love that so much, especially because she is based on the Battler Eagle. Please look that up. They are an African brand of eagle, and they're awesome, and I love them. But so after that, then we went to the artist alley and finished that up. There wasn't a ton there that I was really interested in. Some things were okay, some things were really expensive. There were a couple artists I really wanted to commission, but after I did the mathing and, figuring out my budget stuff when I came home, I just didn't have the money. So I told them that I didn't leave them hanging, and they was like, I'm sorry, I was looking through my budget, I can't commission you right now, but please let me have your information, that type of thing. And then we went to dinner. Well, I just suited, because I don't go to dinner in my suit. That's just, I do not want to risk, I have to clean the suit regardless, but I don't want to have to risk, getting any food or anything like that on this suit. So yeah, I desuited, and we went to Mia's Cantina again. We did that again last year. We did get an appetizer. It was like cheese and chorizo. Both things my body definitely does not need, but it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Wish there had been a bit more chorizo in it, but still really good. My entree was, I think it was called Mia's Enchiladas. So 3 enchiladas. They had like potato and carrot in them, which sounded healthy. And they had mole sauce, which I didn't know what mole sauce was. So it's a very like sweet sauce because it has Mexican chocolate in it. I believe I've seen some recipes for it on, oh my god, what is her name? Isabella, shoot, I forgot. Isabella Eats, that's what it is. Happened to find a website. I was looking for tamale recipes 130 years ago, and I stumbled on Isabel Eats, her website, and she just has a bunch of free Mexican recipes. It's great, and it's authentic Mexican recipes. So she does have one for mole sauce. I think I did save it, but I never tried making it. I hadn't tried making it yet, and I couldn't remember at the time what it entailed. But I decided to give it a shot. There was an older couple next to us, and someone was like, "Oh, I'm sure you'll like it." And I tried. I was like, "Yeah, good call, lady," because I did enjoy the mole sauce quite a bit. I like sweeter things, so that really appealed to me. And for this meal, I did pick up the tab to thank my friend for handling for me all weekend, which he's like, no, you don't need to do that, or let me pay for the appetizer. He also got dessert, which he got the dessert before he knew I was going to pay. So it's not like he's like, oh, you're paying? Okay, well, I want this, and all of this. No, it's nothing like that. But, I wanted to treat him. I usually do that every year. I pick a meal and I pay for his portion as well, just to thank him, because, handling it's a lot. It's not too bad at MFF. It's mainly taking pictures for me and making sure I don't trip and fall over things. So, I went ahead and did that. And after dinner, I think it was Con Horror Stories or Furry Convention Horror Story, something like that. It was an 18 plus panel, just probably because there'd be language. And after all of that food, we're like, no, no, we are not going anywhere else. So we just chilled in the room, and my friend was really interested in seeing the movie Nimona, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. It's on Netflix, I believe. But I had already seen it, and I thought it was really good, but he wanted to see it, so I fired up the deck, and we watched that. I don't think we had issues with Nimona. We had issues with Lackadaisy. I think that was it the night before. We tried playing it, and the internet was like, no. It had nothing to do with the deck, everything to do with the internet. The download speed, was 2 megabits or something incredibly stupid. Like, it's barely internet at that point. So we were able to get that fixed the night before. So thankfully, Nimona played without issue, and he really enjoyed that. And I think it has a really good message. I really do like the characters. Some things are a little like overly cartoony for me, but beyond that, it is a really good movie. Definitely check it out. And that was Saturday night. Sunday. Sunday. No, I can't believe I did that. I don't even like sports. But, Sunday is check out because we do not stay past Sundays. We just don't need to. I know there's like a dead dog dance and there's a few other things my friend Tyler told me about. They have like, room key swaps somewhere, I guess. Because we didn't have the con, like we weren't part of the con block. We didn't get the special room key that had like some, MFF illustration on it. So we did miss out on that. And I guess I could have gotten something, at the swap, but it was like Sunday night, and I was like, no, I'm not staying that late for some key swap. But we did check out, and you put all of our stuff in the car. And of course, I don't suit usually on Sundays. Not for MFF, definitely not. For GFM, I do, because the first games are on Sunday. And every year they let me extend my, they let me do a late checkout on Sundays, like an extra, hour or two or something. So I'm able to make that work at GFM, but for MFF, I wasn't even going to bother. They did have 2 fursuit games. One was Friday, I think, while we were eating. The other one was Sunday during the charity auction, so it wasn't going to happen. Speaking of, that's Sunday. That's pretty much Sunday. It's going to be the charity auction. I was so angry to find out that the BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color meet was the exact same time as the charity auction. Like, it hadn't been on the schedule at all until like maybe Friday. They just kind of shoved it somewhere, and it was the same time as the charity auction. I was so mad. I really wanted to do both. I was thinking about going to a bit of the charity auction, going to the BIPOC meet, and then coming back, but I just ended up staying for the full charity auction. A lot of good not prices, a lot of good art that was available. For MFF, it feels more like handmade or bought things. With Ponyville Cider Fest, it's like some of the things I swear were like used and stuff. Like the sea ponies that I got, like one had like braided hair. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's not how Applejack or Rainbow Dash or whoever it was sold. They weren't sold with braided hair. So it's kind of a grab bag for PVCF, but MFF, it looks like everything is actually new. There were a lot of really nice art pieces, like I said. There was one that had like felt and was 3D, and it was like I'll try and show a picture of it. I think the picture I'm going to show is blurry, but whatever. So like that I bid on, I just, didn't get it. There were a few other things that were really nice. There was a plush Discord, the Draconic. You know what Discord looks like. I've shown you a button of him. I showed you the Discord I made, so you know what Discord looks like. There was like a little chibi version of Discord. And I was like, ooh, I'm totally bidding on that. And I had Sunday I was walking around with Discord, since I didn't have my suit on. With the suit, like you saw in my last video, Discord won't stay. I tried that at MFF. He immediately fell off once we left our rooms. I was like, nope, Discord, you were going to stay. But Sunday, I did wear him around, and I saw that little plush. I was like, oh, Discord, that's you. I was talking to my little plushie of Discord. But yeah, I didn't get to bid on that. It went up so fast. It went to like $250 before they even said, oh, by the way, it is signed by John Delancey, who was the voice of Discord and who doesn't really attend cons anymore from what I've heard. So getting something signed by him is pretty hard at this point. So buying something signed by him is awesome. I think it went for like $400 or $500. I was like, no. Like, again, it went up to like $250 before they even said, oh, by the way, signed by John Delancey. So yeah, no, I didn't get that. There was one other thing I did bid on. In hindsight, I really wish I'd pushed it to 200, but in hindsight, after reviewing my budget, it would have put me over budget. But there was a really nice winter basket that I think Chris is the name of the host. There are multiple hosts that, talk throughout the charity auction. Alkali is the biggest one. He's a really tall guy, kind of a big guy. Very booming voice, hilarious. Alkali is awesome, and I love him. Pepper Coyote is also usually there, and there is a woman there named Chris. And Chris had this item, and she was describing, of course, what's in it, because it was a basket, and we can't really see all that's in it. and it had a Keurig, like a Keurig, an actual, brand new Keurig. Some of the K-cups that go with it, I think a hot chocolate and like something else, maybe mocha or whatever. Something nice to have like on a winter day. I think the scarf, like the MFF scarf for this year, because the theme was snow days, that was in there, which I think was only for much higher tiers. I got the base tier for MFF. I just got the base, what do you call it, like the base badge. But the higher one, I guess it had like a scarf that came with it. So that had the scarf in it. It had some slippers. I was going to like lift up my feet, but I forgot I'm not wearing slippers. I'm wearing feet balls. Like the slippers. It had a robe. It had just everything to be cozy. And excuse my saying this because this is Chris's words. It's like everything you need to have a quote white girl winter. And she's like, yes, who wants the white girl winter basket? And I was thinking, even though I'm not white, I do. I want a basket. So, it went to, I think, 185. I really think I should have pushed it to 200, and I probably would have gotten it. Because there was a lot of stuff in there, including a Keurig, which I don't drink coffee, but I know you can make, again, hot chocolate and things like that in Keurigs. And I also have a crap ton of loose leaf tea I can make in that thing. So, yeah. Oh, well, maybe next year. If they have it again next year. But it was a really nice, auction. There were a lot of things that went really well. I do not know how much they raised with PVCF. It was on the board, so they updated it in real time. MFF doesn't do that. I thought I heard that the overall, not just for the auction, but money raised was like over 100K. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check. But it's a lot. But it's kind of sad when you think about it, because I told you last month about a con that had 1,300 people, not 13,000 or even more than that. And within their charity auction alone, they raised 100K. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like MFF needs to step up their game when it comes to charity. I cannot remember the name of the charity. I will have to add that in edits because I forgot to look that up. It was an animal charity. I did get, they had some of the animals out there. One was like in a cute like baby basket. If you've seen the baskets, like a regular stroller for like babies, like baby humans, I'm sure you've seen the strollers for like tiny dogs or even like cats are in there. There was one in that, and it was adorable. I did get a picture with one on the ground. I got to feed them some treats, and they kind of looked at me like, what? What is this? Why is this giant animal giving me treats? So I apologize for that. I should have looked up the name of the charity. I think I meant to, and I just forgot. But they raise a lot of money for them, and it's always fantastic when they do that. The only other thing to do was to finish shopping. We did one last sweep around the artist alley. I didn't really see anything. Went one last sweep around the dealer's den, and now I can see things because I don't have my suit on. I did see a woman who is running a Kickstarter. I'm going to go ahead and mention the Kickstarter now. I wanted to mention it in an earlier video, and I didn't have time. Unfortunately, the Kickstarter is closed at this point, but I'm sure you can pre-order. The Kickstarter was called Vovo Club, and she had a bunch of really cute plushies. Two were like big dragons, and the others, they had like a frog, they had a possum, they had a sheep, and I think there's another one in there too. But she was advertising for her Kickstarter, and she had prototypes of the actual plushes, so you can pick them up and hold them. I do have a picture of me holding up, I think Nunu is his name, the green and brown, or I'm sorry, green and blue dragon. I know my colors. He was adorable, and he was huge. I picked up the extra large one, and he is huge. And if you backed her, and showed her you backed her, she would give you a free keychain and a free, what do you call it, poster, which you will see in the next video. So I just want to call her out in this video. I will probably link her website. I will definitely link her website and show you pictures of the animals. Maybe in this video, definitely in the next one, because it will count as merch. But I went ahead and did that. I backed one for each of the two dragons because they're really cute. And when you see them, she said one reminded her of, I guess someone said if Discord and Fluttershy could have a baby, it would be this. I was like, wow, I did not think about it like that. But I can totally see that in this dragon. But, I enjoyed meeting her. And again, I had Discord around my neck. And, yeah, I got a lot of compliments for Discord as well. People say, oh, you have a really nice Discord. I said, thank you. He was a pain in the butt to make. And people are like, wait, you made that? And I was like, yes. Again, pain in the butt to make, because he was. But, I got to show my Discord off, and I got to back her. I got some things for Persona pins. I got some things from Another company I can't remember. You'll obviously find out about them next time in the merch video. But I didn't really buy a ton. So I was thinking more of commissioning people. I will talk about the one person, well, maybe two. I guess I'll throw Talenchi in there too. But, Talenchi was definitely there, and I was going to get something from her. The notebook I've been talking about, that's finally getting realized at this point. And then I'm getting a shaker charm from someone else. So I will try and show you examples of both of those in the next video, because those just count as merch. But that was pretty much it. After going through the dealer's den, we were done. So we said our goodbyes, and I came back home and immediately died. And yeah, I didn't. Usually Sundays I go visit my mom, and my sister's over there too because they love their 90-day fiance and all of that. But I was tired. It's like, Mom, it's not gonna. She's like, honey, I was not expecting you to come over. I actually didn't go visit my dad on Monday either because Monday, I took off. I always take off that Monday after a con just to kind of decompress and catch up with things. Still haven't caught up with things. So I'm going to try and do some things tonight, but for now, I just want to shoot this video, get that done. I'm also working on a sewing project for a friend of mine, so really glad we're not opening merch this week because my dining room has minky fur all over it, so it's not in the condition to have, be showing you things. But that will not be there in a couple weeks when I shoot that video. But that was pretty much it. That was my MFF journey. I met a lot of cool people. Most of the panels were really, really good. Did find some cool merch. I did, the stuff I did get, I really do enjoy. Well, one is, I can't really enjoy just a poster, but I did enjoy myself, and my friend enjoyed himself as well. We always love going to MFF every year. I would recommend it. If it's a first con for you, maybe not MFF unless you're going in a group. It's going to be very overwhelming, most likely, if you go to MFF by yourself. So, and very expensive as well to pay for everything yourself. But, no, if you're with a group or if you've done cons before, definitely check out MFF. It's huge. There's always something to do, and I love it. And, yeah, I'm done. I'm tired. And weirdly hungry. I swear I just, ate, but okay, fine, whatever. I'm weirdly hungry. Oh, you guys know the deal. If you like what I do, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and the next video will be MFF merch. I will call it something hopefully clever. It probably won't be clever. For February, I'm not really sure if I want to go back to Persona pins or if I want to do another video game because there are quite a few that have been released and I need to do them. So, not sure what I'm going to do with February, but for the other half of January, you are going to see MFF merch. What little of it there is. And since there aren't a lot of things, for one of them, I might treat it the way I treated other things like it when I get them from Kickstarter. So you might get kind of an extended discussion about one of the items just because I don't have a ton of items. And no, I'm not trying to stretch that video to, 85 minutes or anything. I don't know how long this video is. But I might do something like that just because there's lack of merch. So, until that video, I hope you guys had a, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, a great New Year. I got to spend it with my family, both Christmas and New Year's. Seeing both my mom and my dad. Stayed the night at my mom's for Christmas and New Year's, and we watched a lot of interesting movies. And they screwed up the ball drop for Central Time, which was hilarious to me. My sister got mad, but it was hilarious to me. But, it's been great. Good start off to the new year. Did my exercises today and trying to get the whole weight thing under control. So, yep, if you've got any questions or concerns regarding MFF, if you went to MFF, drop those in the comments and let me know what you did at MFF. If you have any New Year's resolutions, that's fine. Also drop those in the comments. I think I've given up on making those. But until my next video, goodbye.